So here we go. I'm going to introduce Dave. This is Dave Merritt. He is the co-director of the Drum and Dance Learning Center, my partner. And right now you can just see his Groove Merchant t-shirt and his legs. We are co-directors of Groove Merchant Drum and Dance Ensemble. Dave has been at this for more than 40 years as a musician and teacher with snare drum, drum set, Celtic drumming, Revolutionary War drum history, things of that nature, West African percussion, Middle Eastern. He's really, and that's not to say jack of all trades, because I truly don't know anybody who has spent so much time with each endeavor that he goes into. Like it's not just a cute little thing he's trying. I mean, the depth of where that and time that he has spent with masters and just researching to deepen his knowledge. And as I have learned so much from Dave, and I know that just students of the Drum and Dance Learning Center, we just, well, you know, guys, if you've seen us perform, you can't help but kind of rock with it, right? So it feels good while we're doing it, and hopefully we're bringing the audience along with us on that ride, and I think we do. So anyway, introducing Dave Merritt.
She loves doing
I love doing that. I absolutely love doing that. So
rolly chairs.
I have a rolly chair. When you're ready to switch over to the metronome itself, you guys will see it on your screen. It's actually it's Pro Metronome app on your phone, just so you can have it to play around with. This is the one we're working with today, okay?
But any will.
Any one will do, and I'll stop talking and let Dave teach his own class. Here we go.
You're doing so good, though.
I know.
All right. Hey, guys. What's up? How you doing? All right. So, metronomes. They're fun little torture devices that any musician knows well. I can tell you with complete and utter truth, my first one met an early demise when I threw it against the wall. So yeah, they're frustrating. They drive you crazy, and they have to be wrong. They can't be right. I'm fine. It's this stupid machine. The machine's right. You're wrong. You just got to fix it. So anyway, I learned to live with the metronome. I learned some fun ways to make it less intimidating, less frustrating. Okay. So that's what this is about. How we can use these tools and not feel beat down or frustrated or feel like you're driving yourself crazy trying to use the thing. They're excellent tools. They do what they do perfectly because they just keep the time. And any fluctuation, it's you, it's not the machine. And you can use this stuff to better your time and get a better sense of inner pulse. So you don't end up relying. That's one thing I've heard. I don't want to play with a metronome. I don't want to rely on a metronome. You don't rely on a metronome. The metronome helps you develop the inner pulse, and so then you don't have to use that machine. You know how it's supposed to sound. You know how it's supposed to go. So anyway, the first thing you want to do, if you have an actual metronome, not on your phone, but an actual metronome, check out and see if there's any kind of settings or options or any kind of thing like that. Sometimes it's on the back. You want to see if you can at the very least, get 2 different tones out of it. You know, if it just goes click, 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 that's great. Keeps you on time, but which one's one? There's no way to know. So if you can get 2 different tones, you can get click, 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 and now you know which ones is the downbeat, is the one of the measure. Right at the top it says tempo, and I've got it set at 100 right now. It's set at 4/4, and the quarter note is what it's counting. That's all that those top like bluish numbers mean. Now you see right below it, there's 4 little boxes. I'm going to change one of them here. See that one I'm changing? Just like that. So right now I've got all of them the same. Check this out. So they all sound the same. And without the visual, this one's easy because you can see it go from block to block. You don't know which one of those ones is 1. So what I like to do is I like to make one louder than the others. See, I pulled the volume up on that one, just by touching the block itself. If I touch the block, it's going to go down, down. Now it's silent. And then when I touch it again, boop, now it's turned all the way up. Now listen to the difference. I think everybody can hear that that one is different than the other ones. So that's the first step. If you do nothing else, this is a great help just by letting you know which one is one. Like I said, if you have a separate metronome not on your phone, you might be able to find that setting somewhere. Read your directions. They might have a thing in there for you so you can do that. If you can't, it's not the end of the world. You can still use the metronome. This just makes it a little bit easier for you. That's all. So anyway, so that's the first step right there. A second step that I personally like to do, I like to also on the beat of 3, make that one. It's not as loud as 1, but it's not as quiet as 2 and 4. So I like to do that. So if you have that capability, that can be a useful thing as well. So this is how I generally have my metronome set up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 is the loudest, 3 is the second loudest, 2 and 4 are nice and quiet. And what this does, this gives me a lot of different options right here, just in this one little, this setup here. Now we can very easily hear the beginning of the measure, the middle of the measure, and the end of the measure. Right? So now my metronome's all set up. And again, if you don't have an option to do 3 different sounds like I have, just having that one being a little bit louder is a huge help. And if you don't have that option, all of the rest of the stuff will still apply. It will still work. That one just gives you a real nice reference point. So most of the time, we set up our metronomes. You know, you read the top of the piece of music that you're going to play, and it says, you know, tempo 100, tempo 110, tempo 88 beats per minute. And so we set it for that, and it's just playing those quarter notes. And that's great, and it's good, but it can be frustrating too, especially when you're first starting out playing whatever, whether you're playing piano or violin or drums, it doesn't matter. We all need to keep time. And it can be difficult to hold those spaces. It's a little different with melody instruments because you actually hold the note for that long. With a drum, it's just this one staccato sound, and then you've got a lot of space that you've got to wait. So I've got it right now at 100. So I don't know if you can see that. So let's say that that's the tempo of our song. If I was going to practice, I wouldn't put it at 100. I would actually go up to 200 beats per minute. So by pulling it up to 200 beats per minute, I'm not changing the time, I'm changing the perception of time on the metronome. The metronome is now going to count 1/8 notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? And this gives you more anchor points, more reference points for your time. And it makes it a lot easier, especially with drums, which, again, we don't have any sustain. So you can really feel how much space you need to leave before the next note, beats per minute. And so by doing that, now when I turn this metronome on, it's going to, for me, click the eighth notes. There we go. It's going to click the eighth notes. So instead of counting 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what I'm counting there, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. That's 100 beats per minute. What I'm counting, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But you hear there's more clicks than that, and those clicks in between those eighth notes, that gives you more opportunity to feel it, that pulse, and get it right, you know, and really lock into it much better. Now you can go crazy. You could double it yet again, go up to 400 beats per minute. Then the metronome would be playing, in essence, 16th notes. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E, right? But to me, that gets a little crazy to listen to while you're trying to work. That gets a little muddy to me. So I like the eighth notes. So whatever I'm doing, if I'm doing 80 beats per minute, I would bounce it up to 160. If I'm doing 90 beats per minute, 180. It's, you know, it's simple math. We did it back in like second grade or something, right? You know, so, you know, simple stuff, right? So that's a way to make things easier for you by giving you more reference points. Once you're feeling pretty good with this and you're nailing the beat every time, you're not ahead, you're not behind, you're like, hey, this is good. I got this. I'm good at this stuff. Once you get there, then you can realize just how not good you are. Go back to 100, make sure you're still on. You should be, because you'll still feel those eighth notes in you. Even though you hear the click there, you're feeling, and so you're probably going to be on. Now, cut that sucker in half. Go from 100 to 50. Now we're having a metronome sound on the first note and the third note, or the half notes, right? So now here's your tempo, but you're only going to have a click here. So you've got to feel that in between note, right? And doing that really helps you internalize that time, really helps you feel it, you know, even when there is no click, you'll still feel that tempo. And it's always good to do things at different tempos too, you know, don't always, I'm using 100 just to make the math super easy for us, you know, but you know, any tempo works, you know. So anyway, so let me show you that for a second. So this is generally what I do.
Okay.
So I'll start on these eighth notes here, and I'll play whatever I'm going to play. I'm just going to play something simple right now with no sound. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Super simple, right? So I'll start with 200 for the eighth notes. Then I'll bounce it down to 100. Come on. Play the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? That's not hard. Now, this is where it gets fun. And by fun, I mean pain in the butt. Cut it down to 50. So now I'm going to be clicking only on the half notes. 2, 4, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You heard I sped up a little, right? So anyway, that's that, right? And once you get used to that, cut it in half one more time. down to 25, right? So now the metronome will be clicking only on the whole note. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now you've got to internalize all the rest of that. And so that's what I'm talking about. Adding clicks helps you, gives you more support, makes it easier. Taking away clicks makes you internalize that rhythm, makes you internalize that tempo, right? And so now we're down to a click just on and all the rest of it is up to you. And that's great, because then when that click isn't there either, it's all up to you. And you know you can do it because you've done it, right? Let's check this out. 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Right? So it's challenging. Don't get frustrated. This is to help you internalize the time. Do this kind of stuff second. Don't start here. This is making it more difficult. But putting the responsibility on you, where ultimately it's going to be. We're the musicians. We have to have that time. But start with more references to make it easier. And when you get comfortable with that and you're feeling really good about it, then go to the quarter note. When you're feeling really comfortable with that, you're like, yeah, I can do this. I got this. Then try bouncing it down so it's clicking just on 1, 3, 1, 3, and see if you hold those notes, right? Great exercise that I do, and any musician can do this. You don't have to play drums. You can do it on whatever instrument you play, because we all have quarter notes. We all have eighth notes. We all have eighth note triplets. We all have 16ths, and we all have 16th note triplets. And if you want to, you can go up to 30 seconds if you want. I generally do quarters, eighths, eighth note triplets, 16ths, and 16th note triplets. And then I go back down through that rhythmic scale. And let me demonstrate that for you. So Kimbo, you want to bring this thing up?
Yeah.
I'm going to do exactly what I normally do. I would normally do it with sticks. I'm going to try and do it on my legs here with my hands. We'll see what happens. So when Kimbo brings it up,
There we go.
there it is. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. So that's step 1. That was at 200. So it was clicking the eighth notes. Cut that sucker in half down to 100. Now we're right on the quarter notes. Oh, you could have kept it up.
That's all right. They need to see what you're doing. Make sure they can see your
1,
hands.
2, 3, 4. All right. Cut that in half again, down to 50. Now we're at the half notes, or 1 and 3. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's just some fun ways and some challenging ways, fun ways to make it a little easier, and some challenging ways to make it a little more difficult, but that really help us really get a feel of that time. So it really, really does help you zero in exactly on where your timing difficulties are. and it really, really is a huge, huge help. I hope this helped you guys. If you have any questions, you can always email me or Kim. Either one. If you email Kim, I still get it, or you can email me directly, ddlcdrum@gmail.com. If you have any questions on how to make your practicing with these crazy, inflexible machines, make it a little bit more fun and hopefully a little bit more effective.